what is up, guys? It's Guildspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are here for round number 2, Occult vs. Aeternum, and we are going to be seeing Occult killing here with the Plague on the Cold Tower, and I am joined by Temmie. How you doing today, Temmie?
Just great. It's been a while since we last co-hosted together.
It has indeed. Thankfully getting a match going here today at the 12 p.m. slot. And Plague taking their time here as they get that first hit, but do not pursue the chase. Though looks like now Plague going up towards the shack. Though Nia having a little bit of trouble getting in there and will get infected as well.
Yeah, I think that they were just trying to get that first initial vomit on the first gens. They saw that just to kind of get that pressure, just to make sure who else is getting that.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense, though. Plague getting a really early pallet drop here. They are going to get linked to another tile. Nia kind of getting the pallet here, but for good reason as the Plague swings and misses.
Yep, completely misses that, but they're not going to take that chance, so they are going to drop that pallet for it, and maybe we're going back into the killer shack to kind of loot them and just stall some time, and then they did get a gen done.
Yeah, these survivors doing pretty well here. No other survivors infected. Nia going to be going down underneath a pallet, though maybe getting pushed a little bit too far away for a pallet stun.
Yep, and ooh, we just saw caught out of, I think that was Steve. Yep, there was Steve right there. Probably was going to go into a save if possible, but it didn't look like they had enough time.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly what Steve looked to be doing, trying to go for that save, but as we said, just a little bit too far out from the pallet there. And I will note that we do have a Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, as well as an Agitation in play. So the most progressed gen did get regressed by 25%. As far as other perks are concerned, we do not know the fourth, though of course the first perk is always a Corrupt Intervention.
Yeah, which it does help in that first kind of chase, kind of slow down that little gen working and all that fun stuff going through with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Plague here with power in hand, now going for the Ada, it would seem, though actually going to swallow that vomit and instead pursue the Nia further. We see that infected vault there, meaning that the Nia is nearby, and a little bit of a 50-50 there on the Nia's part. I'm not sure if they're trying to prime a light potentially to get a quick escape, but ended up going down instead.
Yeah, they did. So unfortunately, Nia's just gonna go straight back to the hook, and they dare go right through that pallet. That risk, just taking that.
Yeah,
that plasma.
I don't know about you, but ever since Power Struggle was introduced to the game, I simply do not walk through pallets if I can help it. Like, it is just something that has been ingrained into me because when it came out, that's all everyone ever ran. And so, as a killer, I just refuse.
You know what? I've kind of dared myself to do that too, not to go through pallets, but sometimes I forget that, and then sure enough, those times that I do forget, that Power Struggle comes in right in clutch for those people.
Absolutely. With that being said, we do see, looks like Steve, the only healthy survivor able to come in for the unhook on the knee here, though looks like Ace going to cleanse now, and actually pretty close by. This is one of the things about Plague, and I talk about all the time, is that you want to cleanse in areas where the Plague is de-incentivized from going, and looks like we do see the unhook there from the Ada, surprisingly. Ooh. I was expecting that to be Steve when I heard the unhook begin, but instead Ada coming in with a daring rescue, though looks like Nia will get the tunnel treatment here as the Plague will pursue them further into the main building.
Yeah, the only downside is they did not break those doors, and they got that hit at least on Steve, and hopefully with that vomit they'll be able to get a little bit more value of it, catch on.
Yeah, Plague going to go back down into main. They have a lot of resources here still, and Steve looking to potentially go away from main building, away from their gen, as third gen popping off here for the survivors.
Yeah, just with 2 gens left, they like really has to put some pressure on. trying to get at least secure that kill or get another kill quickly. And there goes that last
Yeah.
one. Well, one
At
more,
this
I should
point,
say.
At this point in time, I really do wonder if it would make more sense for the Plague to prioritize the fresh hooks here, as we do see them transferring chase from Nia to Ace, because that way they can get value from their Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, but just unable to get a hit here on the Ace, who is narrowly dodging this Corrupt Purge, but will finally go down at the T-Wall, as we do see the Steve get infected, meaning that they're on a gen with another infected survivor.
Yeah, and considering they don't have much of a 3-gen, they actually have one pretty far away, so they do have that value to be able to kind of work on different gens, put that pressure on.
Yeah, a bit of a 2-1 split here. 2 on main side, 1 on Shack side, and Plague will go for their power once again, this pool being one of their favorites. The question is, will it be a little bit too late if these survivors are able to complete one of these 2 generators?
It's true. Looks like the top main one didn't even have any progress on it, but that one
Yeah.
did.
Looks like they did transfer gens here to the one on the outside of main. We do see Steve here will narrowly dodge by ducking under that Corrupt Purge. It's something that survivors forget all the time is, you know, by crouching, you do shrink your hitbox by a significant degree, able to dodge that Corrupt Purge, the Nemesis Tentacle Whip, etc. So some really cool things you can do with that, and really interesting situation there where if Plague would have committed to that direction, they would have gotten it down on Steve.
Yeah. Oh, and it's just that near miss that they're able to just dodge through that. And a lot of people have been playing risky too, especially when going against the Plague, when they crouch like right in front of them. Have you ever had that type of play before?
It's a smart heads-up play, in all honesty, allowing you to get a sometimes a lot of value out of forcing the Plague to miss their vomit. Even just standing still on the non-corrupt purge, where you get infected instead, can be beneficial. As we do see the 5th gen going off, and a no way out proccing here for these survivors. That is only 2 stacks, as Steve had not been hooked yet. So that does only give this Plague an additional, what, 36 seconds?
Yeah, I do believe so. I mean, it just, I was good on their end to go immediately to that door to kind of start that timer too. Not even knowing that they had that.
I mean, it's always the right move, in my opinion, to have a survivor on the door as soon as the 5th gen is complete. That way you can proc no way out immediately. It just makes so much sense, in my opinion, to do just that.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of plays where I'm running with the Swift, and then we just surely enough don't even get to those doors because we're trying to heal and everything like that. When we realize that the killer is coming towards us, we start going into that door, and sure enough, that delayed. Now we have to kind of get chased by the killer again once more.
Indeed, but with that being said, Ada with a good fake here at the Z-Wall. As we know, the Z-Wall, the strongest tile in the game, but will go down with a quick Corrupt Purge there. We do also hear what seems to be a Nia hanging around. Keep in mind, they are on Death Hook right now, and Plague holding their Purge, trying to get a long-range hit here on the Steve, who is also injured. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the survivor on the ground is a fresh hook, so it might not be a bad idea for the Plague to go for the hook here, but they want to go for the slug out, as Ada will get back up with the help of Nia.
Mm-hmm. That's just like, you know, that fresh hook could have helped at this point value, but it looks like they're gonna miss out on that too as well.
Yeah.
Nope, Ada's just makes it out to the door.
Just narrowly dodging the Plague. Nia elsewhere, potentially over at the Shack, though ends up cleansing instead to add insult to injury, and it is the pool close to the Shack. Plague realizes too, and just is going to watch as the 4-man escape occurs. All right, and we are back for trial number 2 of match number 1. Occult versus Aeternum, and Aeternum is killing with the Dr. Carter, And they're going to be bringing out a static blast here on the cold tower as we do see 2 survivors screaming on the top of main. Honestly, been a hot minute since I've seen Doctor in COTF, and I am quite excited. How about you, Timmy?
Same here. You know what? To be honest, yeah, I haven't even seen a Doctor in a hot minute, but hopefully with this one, they kind of... Nope. I was hoping that they were going to kind of break those doors down to get that value, unlike the plague that happened earlier for.
Yeah, Plague definitely having some struggles around that main building. Doctor might as well. That being said, we do want to note the win conditions here for Aeternum. They need to get either 4 fresh hooks, a 2k6 hook, a 1k5 hook. There's a lot of possibilities here for the Doctor as we see them narrowly dodge a head-on and get a pretty clean hit on this Neo 2 in main.
Yup. I actually didn't even notice that head-on that was there, but that was a good side swipe for you.
Yeah, no, just heard that locker open up like, wait 1 second. But the high stimulus electrode is coming in clutch here for the Doctor. That's why I say all the time, high stimulus electrode needs to be just base kit for the Doctor. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, as the Doctor will go for a meaty swing there and does connect, as now Nancy's going to be harassing the Doctor. Claudette coming in as well, potentially for a 4-to-people pickup. I mean, at the end of the day, these survivors need to play very aggressively on the body blocks and the like. But Doctor going to be shocking out 2 survivors now in tier 3 madness, on top of which they're in a really good position here.
They are, and just trying to get that. Well, I mean, most of them are already kind of like in that crazy mode, so they won't be able to do that flashlight save unless they can do that pallet save at the end.
Yeah, and that's the question. We hear Claudic coming in and will get the pallets done. An aggressive play there by the Doctor, not working out for them in the end, as we do see what looks like Nancy getting healed there, and looks like they will continue on the Nia.
Yep, and they were just keeping an eye on that gen just to see, probably get that down in there too. Nancy
trying for that body block, just once again unable to do anything to stop the Doctor. Though a potential flashlight save incoming, but no sign of them.
No. So we're able to probably get that, finally, that 1 hook value out of it. We're just... Oh, but they get that gen done.
Yeah, 1 gen completed, but a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance incoming, going to be regressing that gen by 25%. In addition, do want to note that the Doctor does have a Sloppy Butcher on top, which is going to make things a little bit harder for these survivors to heal all the while.
Yes, and did that sound like there was Calm Spirit going on?
Yeah, it kind of did, right? It's something that we don't see often against Doctor. Kind of makes a bit of sense, and looks like just outside of the range there for that high stimulus electrode. Looks like Doctor here going to be going for the fresh hooks, not going to go for the tunnel out, knowing the win condition.
Yeah, and just probably get some of that value for that. Oh, there was firework plays too.
Oh, and there's the down, and Ace just a little bit far away from the pallet. No save here unless Nancy's here with that flashlight, but does not look to be the case, and that is going to be another Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, progressing the most progressed gen by 25%.
It looks like that's the only one that had the most progress, considering that one just blew up again, didn't it?
Yeah, looks to be the case, and I will note that we do have that gen here to the right of Shaq that has some decent progress. Fast Vault's still in play during this match, by the way, so Alien Chapter will be removing those extra Fast Vaults that we are seeing here, and looks like Claudette going to be going around one more time and taking the hit there, as they are in Madness Tier 3.
Yeah, but it looks like they're not going to go to that chase. They're just trying to get that gen back to progress, or going back to the other survivors.
Hard to say. Both Ace and Claudette currently injured. Maybe just trying to spread the pain, slow things down as survivors are in tier 3. So kind of getting that pseudo slowdown. As we do see Ace with a, I'm going to say maybe balanced landing. Either that or they were able to activate the vault animation mid-drop.
Yeah, that was kind of hard to tell with that one. And oh, just that.
So I love what happened there because it was a smart play from the Doctor regardless of what ended up happening, which really was that the Doctor swung to get the hit on the Ace, but was still able to body block them nonetheless. So overall, just really smart heads of play from the Doctor here. And just the high Stim Selectro just a little bit too short, I think. So Claudette, oh no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe because of Calm Spirit, I think that it didn't connect, but maybe it did.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, he did laugh, so knowing it did connect with it, I keep forgetting that Claudette has that.
Yeah, one of those strange moments for interaction. Like, if I was the killer, if I was the Doctor, I would 1000% would have thought that Claudette was able to make that vault. I would have been so confused.
Yeah, because that's when the whole listening with your headphones just to make sure that they did get that hit or being able to get that shock in.
Ooh, so Doctor making a really interesting play here, and this is one thing that Doctor can do. Doctor can play Shaq really, really well because you can kind of lock them in to Shaq in its entirety because if they go on the inside and pallet is down, there's no escape. You can't vault out. You can't vault the pallet. You're just kind of stuck in there with the Doctor.
Yeah, it's just that mind game that really comes in clutch, especially with it. Ooh, Nancy just trying once more to get that body blocker save. It's just not working out.
Yeah, she has been trying her hardest in order to save her teammates, and it just has been a little bit too late every single time.
Yeah, it looks like Ace is sent back to the campfire today. Now, hopefully, our Claudette gets some gameplay right there for it.
Oh, it looks like
dead.
A dead hard there from the Doctor, question mark?
Yeah. That whole Calm Spirit is really throwing me off because it's rarely played a lot of the times from what I've seen.
I mean, to be honest, if you were to ask me to read out exactly what Calm Spirit does, I would not be able to say without reading it. And like, I didn't know that it suppressed crows, that there also suppressed the screams. There's also like a 30% in there. Like, I just wouldn't know. All I know is like, play it against Doctor, it can do well, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the recent update, they did add it a little bit more where it takes a little bit longer to like do totems and open up chests. So
Yeah,
I think they kind of just penalized just a little bit of that stuff. It looks like they're trying to get that fresh kill, but they haven't gotten the Nancy or the Nia, correct?
I believe that is correct. That being said, I do believe they actually have already reached their win condition of a 1K5 hook here, as one survivor dead, 2 hooks in. So I believe Aeternum here already going to be walking away victorious here in match number 1, or set number 1 of this match, as we do see a Hex No One Escape death coming up. So that is going to be the haste stats effect, as these survivors are going to be keenly aware that the Doctor is now a little bit faster and a whole lot more lethal.
Yeah, so now it's just trying to play the game of if we could get another hook, maybe another down for it, unless they start looking for that totem.
Yeah, I mean, the totem is rather close to that exit gate, so with the aura reading, they might be able to see it, as we do see scratch marks on that exit gate. They have now faded, so they've been there for just a little bit of time, but Doctor might be satisfied here with the 2K, though. Nia coming in, daring to go up against the Doctor with or without Noed. They are still injured. Also, correction, not Nia, that there is a Claudette.
Yep, it looks like they got stuck into that. Nope.
So they actually didn't get stuck. That was a really interesting mind game there, where they're kind of just holding, trying to see if the Claudette was going to go for the W key play, and they did. Do you want to note Doctor coming back for the unhook, trying to get another kill on the board? A bit of a fake there, and looks like Nancy will go. No, they do not go down.
No, they are pulling in clutch, and nope, right there. So close.
So close, but so far away. Nancy going down just the same. And we do see scratch marks heading away. Doctor trying to drag them over here to the exit gate. About 2 lights on it. Here's the alarm on top of which the haste stats effect might get them there, and I think Claudette thinks it too.
Yep, looks like they're trying to get that save from that other person.
Yeah.
Wait, was it Claudette that was at the door?
Yeah, Claudette at the door, and then Nia trying to go for this unhook here. Doctor trying to stop them from doing anything. Mind you, even in Madness Tier 3, you can still open up the exit gate. You can still unhook. So that is one thing that these survivors can still do, but looks like Claudette going to be making a dash over to the other exit gate. We see Nia escape. They have abandoned all hope here, and looks like the Claudette will go down, and this will be a 3K here for the Doctor.
It's going to be really nice right there for it. So they've already won previously, right? With the 5 hooks, the 1 kill.
Yep. They already did get their win condition here for this match. That being said, honestly, still really, really strong player for the Doctor. As an instance of a tie condition, that will mean that Doctor has a little bit of advantage here for their team, that they're going to have a little bit more points moving into a true tie condition on the 3rd set.
That's good to know on that.
But
Really good play on the Doctor.
yeah, no, really, really good play on the Doctor. And all right, and we are back with set number 2, trial number 3, with the rootin' tootin' shootin' cowboy himself, the Deathslinger, on Mount Ormond Resort, where apparently even cowboys can ski. I, for one, am very excited about this. How about you, Temmie?
Oh, I am so ready for this one because as much as I hate going against him, it's really fun to just see the gameplay as a killer for this one. It's just with the harpoon and the shots and everything like that.
I don't know.
Mixture of that.
I absolutely love going against the Slinger, and the reason being is how intricate the killer is actually designed, and specifically around sound cues. It's such a seldomly known thing and something that people don't use enough, that when the Redeemer is aimed at you and you are within its line of sight, you hear the ringing in the ear of the survivor, and it can just give you so much information of when you need to dodge and how you need to dodge, what you need to do next, and it's just so unique to the Deathslinger that I absolutely love it. That being said, Nia here trying to use that to their advantage, but so far no shots from the Slinger, just going to be holding W here, getting some bloodlust and attempting to mind game here before the pallet, but Nia just holding strong as this looks to be a lucky break.
It does look like that, and I mean, she's been able to get away with that, and never mind, spoke too soon.
Yeah, the bloodlust just coming in, but first gen popping off for these survivors as well.
Yep. So, of course, the first perk that was shown was, of course, what? Corrupt Intervention.
Yep, that was indeed a corrupt intervention. Second hook, our second perk, though, being revealed here is of course, another Scourge Hook. Pain Residence, regressing the most progressed gen by 25%.
Yep. And he was able to tell on that. I mean, lucky enough they all just kind of let go of it, but he did get that shot with... Who was that? Oh, Nancy.
Yeah, and actually really interesting play here. Going to be using the Bayshore Cigar here against Nancy, breaking the chain rather than going for the hit, as they do have that reduced stun duration in that instance. We do see them going back to the unhook here. Claudette going to be going for the unhook, will successfully get it, and it looks like Deathslinger will go for the tunnel out here. Nia, though, in a bit of a awkward position, as if they get this, they can reel them back out from underneath the pallet. They're not doing so.
Ooh.
I is confused.
Same. I was like, wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think the Slinger forgot that you could not only just reel in the survivor, but that you can also drag them back with you. Because, yeah, if the Deathslinger had gone for the reel and then pull, they'd be able to avoid a potential pallet stun, though. I do not hear the pitter-patter of feet, so looks like the Slinger did luck out there.
Yep. And thankfully they went into that hook. He just... Get that snipe in. But those hits do look a little bit quicker, don't they?
They do indeed, as we do have another perk being revealed here early on, being Save the Best for Last. And honestly, I love Save on Deathslinger. I think it is such a good perk, especially when you get up to 4 or 5 stacks. You're able to just get that hit and very quickly snapshot the Redeemer and get a follow-up hit on these survivors. And we'll have to wait and see what that looks like as Ace dodging the ire of the Slinger here, though. Looks like they will get a sharpshooter hit here on the Ace, and Slinger's going to be reeling in, getting the hit, and Wardenski is going to be helping them reload quickly and either go for the Ace or go for the Nia. Go for a sneaky shot here, will successfully get it, but I don't think they get the hit without prison chains.
You just don't. Dang it. That was a good shot, though, coming in through there.
Yeah, no, fantastic shot, fantastic heads-up play, but just not really worth the time spent doing it, as these survivors been doing a fantastic job cranking out these gems. Only 2 remaining, as we do see a kick there, and scratch marks going to be in the shack. Deathslinger unable to find where the survivor went, though.
Do they dare go down to the basement for any reason?
Yeah, I saw scratch marks in shack, as did the Slinger. But I'm not sure if they just like maybe slow vaulted out of shack and thus like evaded Slinger or what happened there. But this far is seemingly pulling a Houdini.
Yup, and they did buy themselves some time for the other survivors to start working on other gens though, so that was a good play too.
Yeah, no, really well done there. And we do see the injured Ace working on this generator. This is probably a very good play here, but instead Slinger going to be going for the Nia here and getting the sharpshooter hit once again. Going to be reeling them in for the hit with Save the Best for last. 6 stacks on the perk now, allowing Slinger a whole lot of pressure. And looks like Nia with the vault will successfully get it. And we're going to be playing at this pallet now and re-dropping it too.
Yup. Just knowing that you could still get that value out of that reel for Save the Best for Last is crazy, because I didn't even notice that. I completely thought that that was like a second ability, not a first ability hit.
It's really interesting because the Redeemer hitting the survivor is considered an M2. The M1 hit there after, though, is, as I said, considered an M1. So it's really, really interesting to see what in the game is considered an M1 versus an M2. And we do see the 5th gen getting popped off here, and once again, a Hex Noed being revealed here in the end game. We'll have to wait and see if this plays out as well as the Slinger would like, but looks like they are going to be going for the Exit Claudette on the door. The question is, will they be able to get here in time for the down? And you can't really body block. Yeah, you can't really body block this. So looks like Nancy is going to get forced out of the exit gate lest they get reeled back in by the Slinger. And this looks like it's going to be securing a 2K here for the Slinger, because unless the Ace is able to heal, cleanse Noed, and then come in for the unhook, I do not foresee a way of these 2 survivors escaping the trial unscathed.
Yeah, that's just Ace just needs to go.
Yeah.
Cut the losses and just get to the door. That's it. It's fine.
Yeah, I think you are right for that. That being said, Deathslinger playing a little bit aggressively here, moving pretty far away from the hook. The Ace could potentially sneak in and try for an unhook for what it's worth, but I do think the safer plan is to just escape via the exit gate, though. These survivors definitely taking their time.
Yeah, they are.
They're not on that exit gate.
They're not, so I doubt that they're going to be waiting until that, the hatch opens up.
No, they definitely wouldn't do that either. I mean, they've had the time necessary. There's the 2nd stage progression on Claudette. Still no progress on the exit gate either. I mean, Ace has had plenty of time to work on the exit gate, sneak past the Deathslinger at this point. There's been a whole lot that could be done, but no sign of them.
Just Ace, what
So
are you
really,
doing?
yeah, really strange and interesting situation here as EGC now at 2 minutes with the extended EGC with a survivor on hook. Mind you, that time is going to be shortened even more once Claudette is dead. So unless Ace is just trying to sneak on by.
Considering he doesn't have Calm Spirit too, so that might be why he's trying to take his time for it, maybe.
Maybe. But only seconds left until Claudette does die on hook. I will note that Slinger will have to go for the hatch here, lest the Ace escape via that, and Slinger not all too concerned, checking by. This would give the Ace kind of a moment to either escape via the X gate that is currently open, because Slinger will have to go for hatch, lest the Ace will go for it instead. But we're not even seeing Ace here either, so yeah, really strange situation here as EGC with only 30 seconds left, but
There you go.
Ace escaping somehow. I honestly could not tell you from where, but does get the escape nonetheless with the 2 men out for the survivor team. All right, and we are back for what could be the final trial of this match with the Knight from Occult going up against Aeternum survivor team, and they are going to need to get either a 2K7 hook, a 4 fresh hooks with 1 stage, and I believe those are the only 2 win conditions that they can technically get. Technically, you can go even further with like multiple stages across multiple survivors, but either way is a very clean hit here on the Ace, and once again, getting some treats here with a lot of these unique killers today. Timmy, do you see a lot of Knights still in pubs, or?
I actually do not. It was kind of rare the one day that I did, but other than that, I rarely see these gameplays anymore with it, so it's kind of good and fresh to see the Knight back again in play.
Yeah, especially in competitive play here, as we do see the Ace making their way back to Shack, trying to delay things as much as possible. Knight being very efficient with their use of the Knights there, of their guards, as we do see that insta-break there on the Shack pallet.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good gameplay out of that. I didn't even know you could do it that quickly for it, switching from one of his Knights to himself.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, if you get the timing just right, you can pretty much get an instant break. Same way of, like, Demo, same way of Blight, same way of Nemesis's Tentacle Whip. As we do see, looks like an Assassin here going to be chasing the Jake off of the main gen, and off goes the Weasel, but going to be just slightly delayed there by Blast Mine.
Just a little bit, but they did get that value, both of it, and of course it looks like also Scorch Hook Pain Residence is in play.
Yep, we have seen both Scourge Hook Pain Residence as well as Pop Goes the Weasel. That being said, 2 gens popping off for the survivors here. They are definitely going strong here.
They are, and I just don't know if they'll be able to get that save before getting that other gen done.
Yeah, that is the question of the day. That being said, we do see the unhook there from the Ada. Looks like they're going to get a hit here, as Jake now going to be in chase with a guard as well for a little bit. However, that chase has since ended. Ada going to be the target now. Looks like they're going to be going for the fresh hook plan here. Makes sense with Scourge Hook Pain Resonance in hand.
Yeah, it does, but at least we're trying to get the use out of those tokens for it to get further delay on that gen work.
Yeah, that's one thing that I feel like a lot of killers sometimes do forget about, is trying to get the most value out of Scourge Hook as possible. Ada, though, going to go for the vault and not going to be able to really make use of this LT wall because of that guard guarding that window. So unfortunate there for the Ada, to say the least, but the guard going to be taking some bounties home, as they have been getting some really good value here from all the guards, whether that be pushing survivors off the gens, locking them out of certain loops, even getting some clean hits as well.
Yeah, and just looking at those, oh, you didn't even notice that. With the other survivor that was hiding with the scratch marks, I think he's just trying to pressure some of the gens, considering that they've already completed 2.
Yeah, would make a lot of sense. Pop goes Weasel as well as Scourge are going to be a lot of value here. Ace realizing the guard coming out instead will leave the tile, but does not gain any distance. Not to mention, Shack Pallet's already gone, so would not have mattered much here, as that will be second hook here for the Ace, being one hook away from being sent back to Campfire via the Entity, and third gen here for these survivors.
Yeah, just kind of adding those two pressures on both of them and for it. But yeah, just breaking that pallet for Shack Pallet is just kind of reduced that kind of loop that they had earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the guard has expired. Another one going back out to main. The Knight really wanting to guard this hook here and confirm a kill at 3 gens.
Yeah. It just looks like it's only that one survivor that's working on that middle gen, correct?
Yeah, it would seem that way. We do see both Jake as well as Dwight here. Now, putting the guard in front of the hook, not the smartest move. Funny enough, the Dwight could have just gone for the unhook then and there. It would not have mattered. And looks like Jake, not wanting to take any risks, is actually going to be letting the survivor die on hook. A really interesting choice here. I'm not sure if maybe the survivor is not realizing that they could ignore the guard by passing through and just going for the unhook. As soon as you touch the survivor on hook, the guard disappears.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of people haven't been playing Knight that they forgot about that play, because I think everybody kind of knew when it was first released.
Yeah, it's definitely a real possibility. One thing to also keep in mind about the Knight and the guard's radius is that, much like Doctor, it is in fact a cylinder and not just on a flat plane, meaning that if a guard sees you at an elevated position, they will not only track you, but fly to your location.
Yeah, that's just getting that gameplay, especially like an RPD, those, it's no fun just thinking that you can get away with them, but sure enough, they fly up there for you.
Yep, that being said, looks like Jake once again taking aggro of one of the guards. We are going to see the insta-break there by that guard, and looks like we are going to get a little bit of a down here, no tile in reach for the Ada, and that is going to be another fresh hook, I believe, and potentially a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance.
Yep, so I mean, they've been applying some really good pressure on that middle gen for it, so that's kind of never mind. Just as I speak that, it's already done.
Yep. And looks like they will be looking around, seeing what the next gen that these survivors are working on. Looks like a bit of a 2-1 split here. 2 gens over on Shack's side and 1 on the opposite. Gen there with a lot of progress, though. So survivors will probably try and complete that, but a Pop Goes Weasel regressing by 30% off its current progression is quite significant. But with these gens being as split as they are, the Knight does need to be mindful that if they do stay here, the other 2 survivors will probably complete the other exit gate within the next 45-50 seconds.
Yeah, so hopefully with that other survivor, they're not pushing them towards that other gen, just to kind of get that done for it, but we'll see.
And we see Jake just holding strong at this filler tile, doing a really good job in all honesty, just kind of chilling there in between the pallet and the Knight, finding the Dwight on the gen as well, just trying to harass this gen, keeping the Knight on Shack's side if at all possible. I do want to know, if we're taking a look at the scorecard real quick, what we're looking at for Trial 4. Right now it's 5 hooks in at 11 points in favor of the survivors if they're able to get the 5th gen and the outs as it stands. It's going to be really interesting. I think comes down to escape points in the instance that the Knight is able to get this down on Dwight, which will be a fresh hook.
Oh, it will be. Just thinking that Dwight was probably going to play that pallet, but it looks like they pre-dropped it, just hoping to get that added distance.
Yeah, I mean, it gets them the value that they were looking for as well. Dwight with the vault back out, and Knight maybe taking too much time here, as we do see the 5th gen completed, though a Hex Noed coming into play. Now, the issue is if Dwight dies on hook, that will result in a win here for Occult in trial number 4, set number 2. So they're going to need to not only cleanse Noed, but also get the Dwight out of the exit gate as well, I think, for them to even have a chance.
Yeah, and the only thing is, if only that hook was closer to the doors, that could have been helpful. But unfortunately, that is the furthest away that they are, if possible.
Yeah, and even then, looking at this, I think actually Occult does walk away, because calculating the escape points in my head, if Dwight were to get unhooked, that would be an escape. That would be an additional 2 points in favor of Aeternum. Jake escaping pressure would be 3, so that's 5. Ada would be only 1, so that's 6. It's an 8-point difference right now, so Occult will take the W here in set number 2, meaning that we are going to go to a set 3 on the treatment theater.
Ooh. They did. Oh, they did take care of that, didn't they?
Yeah, they cleansed Noed. That being said, going for the unhook here and or trade will only be beneficial in the instance of a tiebreaker for set 3. Strange that they did that. So I think that really does come down to what I mentioned earlier, where maybe the survivors just are not aware that if you touch the survivor on the hook, that the guard, the pathing will end, the hunt will end, because Jake kind of staggering their head, thinking maybe they could either get grabbed or something, rather than just going for the unhook.
Yeah, and with the new update too, you can't do that. Grab doesn't happen anymore. It's just a hit. Interesting.
So maybe just a little bit of confusion there by the survivors, but either way, it's looking like a 4K here for the night, as we see all 3 survivors on the ground.
Yeah, that's, what was it, the Ada, the only one, unless she has moved from her spot. I'll be kind of like the one that they have to try to find.
Yep, and they have about 2 minutes on the clock to do so. So they definitely have a lot of time, and by using the guards, you can kind of navigate the map a little bit more efficiently for what it's worth, but Ada just kind of hanging out, sending out a guard for some haste status effects as well. A cheeky little play, kind of reminded me of how people used to use the tonic for Clown to get survivors to the hook a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, that added incentive out of the night was kind of helpful for that too. Especially if you sent your guard far out, you notice that the survivor's pretty far away. And then that haste kind of helps you get closer to them.
Indeed. With that being said, that there will be a tie game between Aeternum and Occult, forcing a set 3, and we are going to the treatment theater. I'm excited for that. I honestly do love, though it is rare, when we go to treatment theater, because the gameplay just changes dramatically. All right, and we are back for the final set of this match between Occult and Aeternum, with Occult killing as the Wraith on the treatment theater against Aeternum's survivor team, and we see a hex perk here.
Oh boy, which one do you think it is for that? Well, considering that they actually don't have, what is it, corrupt intervention this one? This is the first.
Yeah, no corrupt, which is very surprising to say the least. The Wraith finding the first chase here, getting a little bit lost though in that room, and will be dropping the chase with Ada. No, catching back up to her. Instead, gonna be going for the window here. And looks like going for the fake at the window, but not able to get the mind game.
No, and just hoping, in that little distance for it, that's pretty good for Ada to just get away from that.
Yeah, decent amount of god pallets here on the treatment theater, and looks like Wraith will drop chase and instead try and find what gens these survivors are on. And looks like they have found the Kate, who I think has identified this hex perk. And I'm gonna say the survivors are probably well aware at this point that is in fact a hex ruin.
Yes. Now, hoping, oh, okay. I thought someone was actually working on that gen while they were being looped over there.
Yeah, looks like instead Jake here over on main. Wraith just going to go for the sloppy butcher value, which the survivors are also keenly aware of, just trying to go for the hit and run strategy. And they will successfully get the hit here on the ace, and we'll have to wait and see how this works out in their favor.
Yeah, consider now they have 2 injured, and now those gens have been regressing every single time they're letting go. Just gonna get some value out of that. Hopefully they get at least a hook in between then before that totem goes down.
Yeah, that is a thought. I mean, Ruin at this point, especially in comp, is definitely much more meant to just be kind of an early game slowdown. So because most teams are going to try and just tunnel out the first survivor that they find, I mean, that Ruin is only going to get a lot of limited value. But looks like Wraith going back to Ruin, checking the totem as well as the nearby gens. And I mean, Sapphires have been doing a good job. They've been healing rather quickly, but we have found Ada back here on this gen, and Wraith trying to maybe get this pallet out of the way. I will note that the way the Wraith is looping Ada, Ada also has access to that window, but they'll drop the pallet nonetheless, and Wraith with the break.
We didn't even get a hit with it, but I mean, the good thing is that they're utilizing those pallets in time for it. But yet, no gen has been completed just yet. And there goes the totem.
Yep, however, there is Ruin gone and dusted. No hook so far. Another fresh hook, or fresh hit there on the Ada as Slave Butcher is once again applied, and Wraith going to be leaving the chase, instead going to be pressuring these gens. I mean, at some point you need to commit to a chase and get a down. That being said, looks like they have found the Jake. They're going to take control of this pallet here. Jake going to go with the pre-drop, and it looks like the Wraith not going to get the stun this time, but will be forced to break instead.
Yeah. Now, there's still a lot of pallets left on this, and I just kind of believe like this and the game kind of have... of course, the game has more pallets, but this map does have quite a few to work around with.
Yeah, this one definitely has a lot. I think the biggest difference between the game and Treatment Theater is the fact that, as we see there with the vault from the Jake, Treatment Theater has a lot of windows that you can link into what are normally filler pallets. And so the Survivors is doing a really good job linking these tiles together, as we do see the first gen popping off. I mean, for what it's worth, though we wanted to note, okay, second gen popping off, they wanted to note that there hadn't been any hooks. There hadn't been, until recently, any gens completed either, whereas now there are 3 completed to Wraith's 0 hooks, now potentially 1 if they go for the pickup there, but instead going for the slug out.
That is an interesting gameplay for sure, considering that you now finally could utilize that to get some points and a little bit of a pressure on it, but we're still hooked on getting Jake somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what the thought process is here. Possibly that they might not be using Scourge Hook residents. Right now we only know of 2, technically 3, and I'll reveal the third one, which is in fact a save the best for last, which currently has 4 stacks. So keen-eyed viewers would probably be able to tell that the wiping of the Wraith's Wailing Bell was just a little bit faster than normal.
It has been, and just switching on target, so I'm just hoping maybe they're just trying to get those stacks built. That's all I can think of right now.
That would make sense, especially with them dodging chases with the Katos, trying to get those stacks, trying to make these chases a little bit more manageable. But a 4th gen popping off now, I don't know, this is going to be really interesting. We haven't seen the 4th perk, so it still could potentially be a Hex Noed instead, as we see the Jake vault. Another stack of save. 3 survivors injured now. So this is where the hit and run strategy could potentially pay off if they're able to snowball here and now.
Yep, and looks like we found the Kate, which is not going to be beneficial for his stacks that he just earned.
Yeah, not beneficial for the stacks, but for being injured now, 3 of the ace being healed could be the right place where the Wraith wants to be. However, looks like the Ada here, and I think with another survivors, we did hear what sounded like a failed skill check on a heal, but Wraith getting a neat stun there at a cloak, means that Ada is going to gain a whole lot of distance.
Yeah, just It's an interesting game. Like, oh, Ada just stayed there. I thought she ran away to kind of get through.
I would have thought so too, but Ada apparently very daring today as she just holds her ground working on the gen, and looks like this will be God Palette going down. It's the last God Palette. Wraith going for the lunge, trying to get that 50-50. Force Fires, once again, are injured with Sloppy, and we see, or at least saw, before that flashlight blind, about 3 of them in the nearby area, so a bit of a good position for the Wraith to be in, knowing that these survivors are off of gens.
Yep. Now, I thought they were gonna go for the J, considering that you could hear him trying. Add another stack for yourself, but there they are.
Yep, there's the Jake, there's the Ace, and looks like they're gonna go for the Ace now, as we do see that pre-drop. Wraith trying to go for the fake. Ace holding strong, but will go down.
Ooh.
And at this point in time, do you go for the hook? They're breaking, so I imagine, no, they're not.
Okay. I mean, it's just, I don't even know what to think of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange play. Now, I do want to point out a perk that just went off. We saw on the damage generator score notifications. That is Jolt, which is a very uncommon perk in competitive play. Though it does have a flat amount of regression on gens, it still is not one of the more common ones used. That being said, it's a strange choice on Treatment Theater. It's a bit of a larger map, though there are groupings of gens. It's usually not as effective as other gen regression perks, though this might make more sense as they're going for the slug plays, and so they're going to get a lot more value out of it rather than hooking, is my only thought there.
That is fair, and considering that they keep running towards those gens, so it is kind of beneficial with those.
Ooh, and we're seeing the first hook here. Wraith maybe losing a bit of patience here to slug play, and instead going to be going for the first hook here on the Kate.
Yep, and we got one fully healed survivor, so
yeah, that is
hopefully they're all grouping up for it, just so they're all back from the start, just kind of regroup.
Yeah, that's the Ace. We do see that this gen is still not regressing. Now will be with the kick of 2.5% plus 0.3% thereafter. Jake also healed, so that is both the Jake and the Ace together. We have found the Ace, so you know relatively where both survivors are, and that means we see the Wraith going back for the unhook, and looks like Jake will get there just before them.
Oh.
A near miss there by the Wraith, and looks like they are going to drop chase, going back for the pickup instead, trying to see if they can remember where the Ada was slugged at. They do successfully find where they were, but find the Ace instead of the Ada, as once again, just going to be going for these quick hits. Save the best for last, allowing them a little bit of extra distance here. But I'm not sure if it's worth going for the recloak and not just trying to M1 them down.
Yeah, I think just trying to mind game in that situation, but that delay with the cloaking and uncloaking was not beneficial for him too.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to say the least. We'll have to wait and see if this playstyle pays off in the Wraith's favor there. I mean, they've gone through a ton of resources and will get the down, as well as another damage generator with Jolt on top of which. So a lot of value coming in for Jolt towards the end game. The survivors working on this generator here.
Yeah, we're back on Ada, so Ada, oh, she wasn't even healed all the way through. So there's still that value to be able to get that if she goes down near that gen.
Yeah, and Wraith doing a fantastic job knowing exactly where the Ada was going to go, but looping them on the wrong way, as Ada does have access to that window. So now she is able to vault out at a moment's notice. And looks like she's going to hold W here, not going to go for the vault and the mind game. And looks like we see the fake there, and looks like the down once again. More value from Joel. 8 stacks of save the best for last in hand. And Wraith is going to be going back around, trying to see if they can find the survivor's healing.
Yeah, nice.
So a blast mod on what looks to be like a 99% generator. And looks like that is Kate here trying to finish that gen. This puts the Wraith in a really awkward position because their game plan previously was to just, you know, read down, get Jolt valued, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And even with the flat regression from Jolt, I don't think there's going to be enough regression to save that gen. They kind of need to commit to the next chase they have, which would be Kate, but looks like they're going to go back instead and try and get this survivor, who is the ace, off and down.
Yeah, but they are planning it out just to run away from it so they don't get that value out of Jolt, so...
Yeah, I mean, they have to know at this point that Jolt is in play. I mean, it's kind of a hard perk to keep track of, at least initially, unless you're on the gen as it's regressing, kind of suss out that, well, it's not Eruption, so it must be Jolt. But definitely a strange one to see in comp. It looks like Wraith's going to be going back to the gen again, still regressing at 0.2% per second, so gain some regression there, but there's two other gens that these survivors could be on.
Yep, and it looks like they are taking care of the other one just in case of that. They don't get value out of the other one to get the gen done.
And looks like Jake just going to be holding W here towards the corner of the map. Ada here as well, so Wraith at least knowing where two survivors are, but the Jake with the stun, really well played there. And yeah, Wraith is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
I mean, with full stacks on, with save the best for last, that's good, but I don't think it's going to cut it just to be able to get that another regression on that furthest one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is very much true. And yeah, I mean, survivors are being smart. They know that Jolt's in play. They know that they can't just, you know, jam out gens and then trade and then just complete it while they're going for the hook. Instead, they have to heal up and kind of take their time. And yes, the Wraith gets that 0.3% per second, but it's not a lot of regression over that span of time. The gen and library just not being touched at all, so it's between these two gens, which are the farthest apart.
And all the gens have got completed, sure enough.
Yep, and there is in fact no Noed, as the full build of Sloppy, Save, Jolt, and Ruin has been revealed. So we'll see the hit on the Kate here. Wraith at this point, I imagine, will commit to the chase and go for the down.
We're hoping
and
for
Survivor's
that.
already on the exit gates too. Yeah, Jake with the fantastic body block there. Ace coming in a bit late, but will get out just the same. And with that being said, that there will be the 4-man out for these survivors. All right, and we are back for the final trial of this match. And we got ourselves a ghost face on our hands, and they are stealthed up and ready to stab here on the treatment theater. And I believe they only need 2 hooks here, 2 stages, doesn't matter on who, 2 stages, and they will walk away victorious. Do you think it's possible, Temmie?
Oh, I do hope so. But no, it is actually. Just seeing that they do have corrupt intervention and they did lock in on the first survivor, it's going to be added a little bit quicker for them to get the kill. And Ghostface, I love seeing the gameplay and playing as him. Not a good killer main, but you know,
yeah. Honestly, really fun gameplay. Honestly, they're like the reveal mechanics still a little bit finicky, at least more so than I would like, even as a killer. That being said, I do love the style of gameplay and how it kind of influences more body blocks, especially when survivors are on the shoulder of the killer, and strangely enough, because we're seeing the Ghostface here 99 a lot of these survivors and just walk away, you know, and then going to return to them later, reveal them, etc. But on the first down, the best thing you can do is be around wherever the pickup is and just take body blocks, even to the point of where 3 survivors take hits. It removes the 99. But we see Nia here going to be going down at this pallet.
Oh.
I want to say a hook nearby as well, so I doubt there's going to be any room for body blocks, even with the ace. Thinking about sprinting in and potentially getting the pallet stun.
Yeah, that didn't work out to his best because, yeah, you did see him just sneak out but didn't realize the distance from it. It was a good to notice that they do have Scorch Hook Pain Resonance on that, so it did regress the gen. Just not sure which one.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's the thing about Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Kind of hard to say for certain which one it regressed here on the Treatment Theater. That being said, first took here for Aeternum and the Ghostface. And Ace taking a hit, trying to come in for the unhook. And they realize they can't give up 2 stages. So, I mean, they need to be able to get 5 gens within the time that it takes for a survivor to move the 2nd stage and or somehow manage to send 2 survivors in to ensure that it's not a 1-for-1 trade, even though hook grabs are not a thing. So, tricky situation here for the survivors. Pretty much insurmountable odds, but who knows? We might be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is just not seeing Nancy run in, because if she tries to be one of them, she's pretty much exposed by that point when she goes in.
Exactly, but looks like Ghostface thinking that they will hit that 2nd stage. Sure enough, they have gotten it, and Nia 1 hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity. That is also going to be the win condition for Aeternum here, as they will walk away victorious in set number 3, round number 2 of season 7 of Champions of the Fog. And with 30 seconds on the clock, looks like Ghostface pretty content with their results. We'll go back and try and get the tunnel out here and camp, as 2 gens now done by these survivors. Knowing the situation, I think the right move is to sit on gens.
Yeah, that is a fact for it, because that's, with the little time that it's left on it, it was not even worth it to go back in.
Yeah, exactly, and looks like 5 seconds left on the camp. A 3rd gen popping off, and Nia sent back to the campfire via the entity. I imagine Ghostface here in a pretty good position. Nancy pretty much exposed. Ace still injured, but we have yet to see the Claudette this entire time.
That's true. Well, I mean, there's Claudette and Ace, right? From what I saw.
Yeah, look like Claudette and Ace are. Yeah, no, actually, that is Nancy. And that is huge for the Ghostface, as the Nancy has not been able to reveal them, and they are as 99 as 99 can be, and they will get that exposed stat on the Nancy. A bit of a awkward tile to be at, but the Firecracker coming in clutch, forcing the Ghostface to whiff. They're expecting the pallet stun instead. A really interesting interaction there, but Nancy will end up going down at the pallet.
Yeah, that did not help out at the end for it. I mean, now what?
Fortunately not.
I was just hoping that the other 2 survivors are on the generator.
I mean, that would be the ideal scenario, and we saw what looks to be the ace on this generator. However, it getting regressed by 25% is definitely not something that the ace is probably thrilled about seeing, especially while still injured. They are going to use the library tile, but being a little bit aggressive and holding W maybe for a little bit too long, as they do end up going down.
Yeah, I was just hoping that they don't heal right under the hook. Get that. Oh, they did try to get some progression back on that gen for it.
Yeah, looks like Survivor's just really trying to jam out gens, maybe get a escape, maybe 2 if they're lucky. But with a slug out and 2 survivors injured, I mean, Ghostface is in a fantastic position right now.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? 2 tokens used already for Pain Resonance for the Scorch Hook?
Yep, that is correct, and this could be the 3rd, and sure enough, there is. Does not regress this gen, though, so there's another gen out there above 50%. Now, that is very likely the gen that the Nancy is on, as we saw the Claudette earlier, and sure enough, see her again here. So it's possible that we might see a gen completed before the Claudette goes down.
Yeah, hoping for that, or at least the save. Yep, there it goes.
So now we have 2 survivors available on the gens. Claudette just pre-dropping every single one possible. Trying to mind game there with their stealth, trying to remove their red stain, but Claudette able to reveal them pretty quickly. I imagine these survivors have a lot of practice revealing the Ghostface, though with the mind game will successfully get the down here at the pallet.
Yep. Oh, we're actually by the window.
And there it is. There's the 4th gen, and does not look like a Scourge Hook this time, though. So no gens regressed that time. I mean, there's still 1 token left on the Claudette. It's something to keep in mind for future reference in the case that they do go back down. That is still an available option. Survivors might not be aware of that because of the fact that they did not see any gen regress.
That's true on that. Did we? The healing does look like it's been down because of the Slavi Butcher that's been on play.
Yeah, Sloppy been really clutch here for the Ghostface, slowing down the heals quite significantly, enough for them to really play around the unhooks and or to slow down progression of the gens. Survivor's kind of ignoring healing for the most part, but they can't exactly send a injured survivor into the unhook. Though looks like Ghostface will drop chase with a Nancy, content with getting them about 33% along their way.
Yeah, they're able to do that pressure too on both the gen and the hook, considering that they're both right next to each other.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a 2nd stage progression on the Claudette. Nancy will reveal the Ghostface, meaning that they do give up a lot of progression here, but will get the injured nonetheless as they do make a mad dash back over towards the hook. But I don't think they have the distance to get the unhook here safely.
No, they do not. Oh. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got the 1-for-1 trade, which honestly is more than what I was expecting. However, Ghostface here just going to wait out the BT here, and Claudette with nothing much available will end up going down, leaving just the ace on the ground, potentially working on gens, and looks like Basement's here in the library, and looks like Ghostface, no, not going for that. Instead, looks like they might be trying for a Scourge Hook as they're being very aggressive here.
They are, and they do make that. Oh my goodness. Just considering that was...
Just barely. That had to have been as 99 as 99 could be for that survivor. That being said, 25% progression off the most progression there. And now we are going to be on the hunt for the ace with 1 survivor on the ground. About 3 minutes left on their timer.
But now the only thing is just trying to see what Ace is going to be up to now, is just being able to either work on a gen or be able to get that pickup. Because
yeah.
I don't think the Ghostface knows where Nancy is right now.
I'd imagine, especially with like how much the map looks similar on the different corners, I imagine trying to find the Nancy now would be quite a difficult task, to say the least. That being said, Ghostface is going to kind of be on the prowl on the outskirts of the map. Might potentially find the Nancy, and actually finds her just kind of doing some moon slugging, and we will get that pickup here and hook to boot. And Nancy will be 1 stage away from being sent back to campfire via the entity. I imagine we see her let go here with a chance escape from the ace through the hatch.
Yeah, but now it's time to play the hatch game, trying to see where that is at.
Yeah, that is the question of the day. Unlike the outdoor maps, we can't exactly predict where this hatch will spawn. So it really is anyone's game now, though. Ace being found with a crow over their head. They must have been chilling for a hot moment before being found here. And looks like we are going to be on 1 last chase. Ghostface trying to reveal them, or rather trying to expose them. And let's see if we're able to hear the hatch while in chase with Ace.
It's gonna be a little bit difficult.
That being said, Ace not finding it yet. Ghostface trying to do their best to get some exposed while giving them as little distance as possible. Ace gonna be forced to go back around into the Ghostface, and they don't get the reveal. If they got the reveal, that would have been huge. But this is gonna be exposed, and now it all comes down to this. Can the ace find the hatch? There's no resources in this area, I don't think. No, there's still a pallet, but Ghostface now just trying to mind game here. Does not get the mind game. Being very cheeky with the crouch there.
Well, I mean, they do have some value out of all these drop pallets for sure, but I don't think that...
Talk
Just
about
made it.
cutting things close there, quite literally, as Ace does escape via the hatch. So well played there, to say the least. And GG, well played both teams, but congratulations to Aeternum walking away victorious here.